Hey guys, Preston here. Welcome back to another video. This is a live edition of the Notre Dame post-game breakdown and reaction we do every week. I did not get the previews for the Steelers and the Irish this week. I apologize for that. I got a little busy, I guess you could say, but it's okay because I'm still going to do post-games for the Irish, obviously, and for Notre Dame when the time comes. Either way. Just with it being live, I figured I'd do it live. I like doing it live. Hopefully, if we get any people in here, they can feel free to comment. We'll go back and forth. We can talk about the game. If not, worst case, I'll just treat it like, any of my post-game videos and just go from there. So this is the actually the second post-game reaction I've done this year. So we'll take it from there. We'll go the way we normally do, kind of talk about the game as a whole, dive into the stats a little bit. Overall, I will say just straight up, this was our best game of the season. Doesn't take much, obviously, given everything that occurred over the first two games of the year. It wasn't exactly great. Oh, man, this camera makes my hat look stupid. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, so I think it was our most complete performance of the year, just if I'm being honest about the situation or how the team's been. Wasn't our best effort, especially offensively. I think we're still struggling a bit, which is weird. I mean, the first game of the year, we were fantastic offensively. And against Toledo, we struggled a little bit. Purdue struggled a bit, but we made plays when we needed to, and that's what's important. Drops were an issue today and overthrows were an issue today. I think we left a lot of points on the table, as I'd say. I feel like we honestly could have scored 30 plus, maybe even close to 40 if we made all the plays we were capable of making. So overall, I'm pretty optimistic about this performance. It started pretty sluggish again, but we picked it up towards the end. Defense had its best game of the year by far. There's a couple moments where they looked a little rough. One of the touchdown drives in the third quarter for sure. The corners, it was a missed tackle that led to a big run, and then two pass interference calls in a row that led to that Purdue touchdown. So that was tough to see. Cam Hart was shaken up at the end of the game, by the way, one of the starting corners. I haven't seen an update yet, but hopefully he's okay. The depth at corner is a little shaky, at least unproven is what you could say. We went aggressively after a transfer earlier in the year, but he ended up picking Missouri over us. So I don't think the corners are horrible, though. To be fair to them, Purdue's offense is actually good. Even when they've been bad, Purdue's offense has been very talented. Definitely David Bell. This is David Bell's most quiet game of the year so far. No touchdowns, only 64 yards, which is, it's not great, but for David Bell's standards, it's pretty good to hold him to 64. I hope he's okay. Obviously, he had to leave on the cart. Wish him the best with the rest of the season. Just important we got the win. First win by double digits this year. I've mentioned that. Not here, but in some of the Facebook groups and stuff. So that's big for us. That's obviously something you want to see happen more and more. But it's good to pick it up. I hope if we can just continue this streak of playing better every game we're in, then by the time we play Wisconsin next week? I think it might be next week. We will be in a better position than we were. So the improvement is showing. That's the important part. Sorry, guys, real quick, I'm going to see who we play next, man. I think it is Wisconsin. Yeah, the 25th. Got Wisconsin, followed by Cincinnati, followed by Virginia Tech, followed by USC, followed by North Carolina. We've hit the tough part of the schedule now. This is the grind part, so it's good to get this game out of the way. We played well. Want to credit them. Now I guess we'll just go unit by unit like we normally do. So first off, we are going to talk about the offense, who, like I said, left a lot of points on the table there. Only putting up 27. But they got it done when they needed to. Jack Cohen was all right. 15 for 30. It leaves a lot to be desired. That completion percentage isn't great. He wasn't very accurate today, I noticed. There's a lot of overthrows and underthrows and just didn't really connect well with his wide receiving unit, which, we'll want better from that in the future, obviously. 2 touchdowns, though, and no picks. So that's great. Good for them. 4 sacks. Still not great. I think obviously the O-line's bad. We know that. And part of it, I think, is Jack holding onto the ball a little too long sometimes. So some of that is on him. Although I will say 4 sacks, that is less than what we gave up to Toledo. And the Purdue D-line is better than Toledo's. So, slight improvement. Good job, guys. Just get better every game, and maybe we'll have a good O-line by the end of the year. Who knows? Buckner really didn't get any throws. He had one throw that was incomplete. That's it. Didn't get used as much as he did against Toledo, which it's fine. We got the win, although there was a couple drives where it felt like we could have used Buckner, to get a spark going or something, because that offense had long periods of time where it was doing nothing. There was extended periods, at least twice throughout the game, where the offense was just non-existent. It was basically dead. That's not what you want. The run game was a little better today. I mean, we broke 100 yards rushing, so that's good, especially if you take away Jack Cohn's negative 21, but obviously that is from sacks and whatnot, so that's not fantastic. But the rest of them, Kyron especially, although I'd have to figure out the average without the long run, because he broke a 51-yarder when he put the team on his back. Our last touchdown drive was set up by his great kick return that got us to midfield, and then his great run after that, like the next play, a 51-yard touchdown run. That's beautiful. Hopefully you should find that highlight on Twitter. It's probably all over Twitter by now. It's posted to Bleacher Report and stuff like that, so definitely find that play if you didn't watch the game. Fantastic play by Kyron. So he ended up with 91 rushing yards on the game, along with 47 receiving yards and a touchdown. So overall, I mean, Kyron was very solid today. He had a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown, so it's good to get Kyron Williams more involved. Let him be the weapon that he is. Get him involved in the passing game if the running game isn't working great. But even then, he still had that great rush, so that's something you want to see. Real quick, I'm going to take away that 51 yards, and we'll figure out how good he really was. And then, so 40 yards on 11 carries. It's not awful, but 3.6 yards per carry. Not the best, still a struggling line, but to be fair to him, he made the plays when he needed to. Tyree had 29 yards and 11 attempts, 2.6 yards per carry. Not his best day. Yet again, I don't fully blame him. Obviously, the blocking still isn't where it should be, but hey, he held onto the ball, right? So that's a plus. Buckner had a very good run game again, but only 3 rushes, 24 yards, but not bad. And obviously, the extremely limited time he has. Plus, the fact is that for the most part, these defenses can guess that he will be running the ball. So the fact he still got all that yards while the defense knows is also very impressive. He had the run where he had to cut back all the way across to the other side of the field to gain like 5 yards, but that play could have been for a loss. So that was a great play by Tyler. It just shows kind of the potential he has. I mean, my book jersey over there is basically going to be a Buckner jersey now. So, shout out Tyler. Wish him the best. Receiving-wise, Avery Davis had a day. I mean, caught every ball that went his way, 5 receptions for 5 targets, 120 yards and a touchdown. So, great day from Avery Davis. He's been kind of quiet the first 2 games, so it's great to see him, explode out today. We needed that from him. It was a great performance. Kyron Williams with 47 yards on 3 targets, 2 receptions. Tyree caught all 4 balls that went his way for 30 yards. And Lindsey had 3 catches for 21 yards. The receivers themselves outside of Avery, not great. Just bad. Not all on them, though. For instance, Kevin Austin, this shows 8 targets. It might be even more, but at least 8 targets, 0 receptions. They weren't all on him, though. If you watch the game, a lot of those balls, he was open, man. And Cohen, I mentioned to you already, the accuracy was a problem today. He was overthrowing Kevin Austin every chance he got, and it was tough to watch. We left points on the table that way. Lindsey had an unexcusable drop, though. I will say that he dropped one right in the end zone. That was a touchdown. And then we ended up punting that drive or something. So not great on him. And Austin, I don't want to put it all on Cohen. Austin did have some drops too, some stuff you got to hold on to the ball. Wilkins had 2 targets, 0 catches. So not a great day for the receivers and not a great day for Cohen, if we're being honest. I mean, Cohen still made the plays he needed to towards the end. But like I said, I mean, 15 for 30 is rough. You want better than that. If he could have connected on some of these passes, man, this could have been like a 40, could have scored 40 plus on this Purdue team. So this win could have been better than it already is. 27-13 is not bad. Like I said, it's our best win margin so far this year. So the progress is important. That's why I'm happy about it. But it's that we could have done better and we should have done better. And that's the disappointing part, What else do we have in terms of offense? Well, they finally let Williams make returns on the punt and kick team, so that's huge. That's progress. It seemed like the last couple of weeks, and mainly a lot of times the Brian Kelly era, it's like you fair catch it no matter what. But now Kyron saw stuff, and he went for it, and it gave us good field position at least twice, although I believe one was taken back by penalty. But either way, those returns were putting us in good position. Like I mentioned already, it was the Kyron return that set up the long Kyron run that gave us the game-sealing touchdown. So I want to see more of that. I encourage that. Let's let these guys return some of these punts and kicks. You don't need to be super passive all the time. Maybe we need to be more aggressive in general, put some teams away if you want any chance of having a good enough resume for, a New Year's Six or a playoff, because just based off our schedule, man, in terms of ranked teams, there won't be it. Basically, Cincinnati and Wisconsin are only help to play ranked teams. So the next 2 weeks, really, that's the two ranked teams will play. Virginia Tech just got beat by West Virginia. They were already lower ranked. I doubt they'll be ranked still by the time we get to them, unless they do some impressive stuff. USC, is going through a coaching change. Last time I checked, while we're recording this, they were losing to Eastern Washington pretty bad, and their starting quarterback Keaton Slovis got injured. So I don't know if they'd be ranked by the time we play them. Probably not. Okay, they bounced back big time, so they're up 35-14. So there's a chance USC will end up ranked by the time we play them, so that's a plus in terms of just strength of schedule. UNC is still ranked, so maybe they'll be ranked still up, but they don't really impress me too much, so we'll have to see what happens there. But yeah, so we want to win. Basically, we want to win big no matter what. My whole argument is just not to let your foot off the gas, because you want to run through everyone to make your schedule and your resume look as good as possible. That's the reality of the system we're in now. You need to be impressive, unless your name's like Alabama or Clemson, and you can probably lose 2 games and they'll still give you the benefit of the doubt. But that's regardless. Jonathan Doerr, special teams we'll get to now, had a pretty good game. Relatively good game. He did miss that one field goal, which hurt, and the other one was close to a miss. Just need to make sure he keeps his confidence. We can't have him shaky again like he was towards the end of last season, so hopefully he'll bounce back and be fine next week. I have a feeling we'll probably need him against Wisconsin just based off our offensive performance and how good the Wisconsin defense generally is. We'll probably have to settle for a lot of field goals. Just, kind of a hint towards my prediction video that'll come out. I have a feeling it might be a low-scoring affair. We'll have to rely on our defense, and our offense will need to get points one way, and field goals seems to be the most likely way. So hopefully Doerr bounces back big. Punter had one shank, which sucked, but he also had a good punt that put Purdue right at the 99. Purdue had to go 99 yards, so relatively solid game from the punter, Jay Bramblett. Not awful. Could be a little better. The shank's got to go. Not good for the team. Just nitpicking there, obviously. Now, so overall, the offense could have done better. They just could have. They left points on the table for sure. That's the disappointing part, is that, the points they left drives me crazy, and we can do better. So, this hat's driving me crazy too. I don't know why. Anyways, defensively now, we'll get into the stats real quick before we talk more about it. Overall for the offense, just meh performance, picked it up a bit towards the end, but still has a lot of room to work with and needs to just improve overall. O-line was a little better today, but still needs to get better every week if you want a chance. And the passing game, like I said, Cohen left a lot of plays on the table, but still made some plays when he needed to. All right, J.D. Bertrand on defense had another game with 10 tackles. He led the team. Six of them were solo. He's been a tackle machine for us. You'd like to see the D-line maybe get some of these tackles first, but it's okay. I think the system we're in, the linebackers are going to eat a lot. But shout out to Bertrand. Kyle Hamilton had he was kind of quiet against Toledo. He had a great game today, in my opinion. 8 tackles and a pick. He seemed to be all over the field. It seemed like he's in the right spot most of the time. Made some great stops. I believe he's the one who flew across to get the stop the Purdue running back on the 4th and short conversion they attempted. He, it would have been a surefire first down if Kyle didn't make the elite play that he did. He also had the pick in the end zone because he has the nose for the ball. So Kyle Hamilton just doing what Kyle Hamilton does, man, being a top 10 pick in the draft next year, more than likely. Top 15 at worst, if you ask me. DJ Brown, In terms of coverage, I'm not real sure how he did, if I'm being honest. I didn't notice a lot of the safeties when it came to pass coverage, but he did have 7 tackles and had that pick to basically seal the game, even though the game was – we would have won anyways, but it gave us the ball back to, take the knees and end the game sooner than it, could have been dragged out a bit longer. So shout out to him. He got the deflection off a nice Cam Hart breakup. Cam Hart was inconsistent, to say the least, today. I mean, that drive I mentioned with the corners giving up a lot of plays, Cam Hart was responsible for a decent chunk of that. He missed the tackle on the running back that led to that huge run Purdue had, and then he was also, if I recall correctly, I believe he was responsible for one of those PIs that, led to that touchdown. He also got away with a PI later on, if you ask me, which obviously I enjoy, but, you want more sound coverage. You don't want to have to interfere with everyone all the time. He is shaken up though at the end, so hopefully he's all right, because he's still probably better than the guys we have behind him. But if he is down, I guess it'd be an opportunity to see some of the other guys, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully he's all right. Isaiah Pryor, 5 tackles. He didn't look real great to me today. I feel like he missed some tackles, left some stuff on the field, but in terms of numbers, 5 tackles is 5 tackles. Drew Wright, also 5 tackles. Jason Adamayola had 5 tackles and a sack, so shout out to Jason. Foskey again with a sack. Foskey's been a beast this season, man. Dude's legit. I just hope he stays another year, because I honestly feel like he has good draft potential. We'll see kind of just where he's projected once we get to the end of the year. Myron Tungavaloa Amosa with a solid game with 4 tackles and a TFL. He drew some holding calls too, at least one that I can remember. So the D-line in general has been pretty solid all year, though, the first 3 games. And it was good again today. Real quick, it was 2 sacks. So wish we could have got to him a little more. But to be fair, the Purdue quarterback, whether it be Plummer or O'Connell later, did a good job at avoiding our rush again and, getting the ball out before they went down. That happened multiple times with Plummer. I remember it's like, man, he should have been sacked there. Some of that's on the defense. Some of that's the quarterbacks making good plays, so I don't want to hate on them too much. But I do think our containing we still struggle to contain the quarterback. It seems like they can break the pocket and make plays on us pretty easy still. I remember one play, it was a surefire sack, but one of the Adebayola brothers, he straight up slipped in the turf and fell before he could get the sack in, and it ended up being a good play for Purdue. So just stuff like that. I think the D-line's good, but we just need to contain the quarterback better and wrap them up when we get the chance to, because you don't always get that chance. When you miss your chance to wrap someone up in the backfield, usually they'll end up making a positive play out of that. So that's something you got to work on a little bit. Bo Bauer, 4 tackles. Hines, 3 tackles. Clarence Lewis, 3 tackles, was the better corner today, but still, not the best, but we did enough. I don't want to rag on the defense too much, because they're the reason we won this game, if we're being honest. Kaiser with 3 tackles, Griffith 2 tackles, Bracey 2 tackles. Bracey got punked pretty bad on one of the plays. I mean, he got stiff-armed like 5 yards, so physicality is kind of an issue with him. But I think that's not real surprising given his size. If he goes against some of these bigger receivers, it might be a problem for him. So can't hate him too much. I can't blame him too much for just his physicality. It's his height, man. He can't change it. So nothing against him there. Didn't look awful or anything. Howard Cross with the tackle. Jason Adamayola with the tackle. And Nana was responsible for one of the sacks. Sorry, guys. We had 3 sacks. I forgot to account for the fact that there was 2 quarterbacks. Although Bleacher Report, I'm using Bleacher Report for the stats. Sorry, that's why I'm looking down, because that's where my phone is for the stats. And on the individual stats, it credits us with 3 sacks, but then when it shows the Purdue quarterbacks, it claims they were only sacked twice. But either way, 2 or 3 sacks. Not awful. 348 total yards of offense for Purdue. Wish we could have kept it down a little bit. Our run defense was solid today, so credit to that. Obviously, Purdue was missing their top running back in Xander Horvath, a local kid from Mishawaka. But they still held them to 57 rushing yards regardless, so that's solid work right there. They passed for almost 300, so a little, like I said, the secondary was a little rough, but the Purdue offense is built for the passing game, and they have really good receivers like David Bell, so I'm not going to freak out entirely, Gosh, this is the turnovers, we won the turnover battle, so that's really important. The offense, as bad as they were at times, did not turn the ball over, so that's really important. That's good work, and obviously that helped us win this game. And we were able to get 2 interceptions both towards the end of the game. The Hamilton one was the more clutch one, as it stopped it from becoming a game again and getting Purdue back in it with some sort of fighting chance at the end. Overall, not a bad game at all. A relatively solid performance. I'm less upset about this win than I was about last week's win or the win before. This was genuine improvement. It's what I wanted to see in the Toledo game, and it didn't happen, but we got to see it today, so that's important. Better now than later, right? So it's just hopefully we can carry this momentum into the next game, clean some stuff up. We can't leave those points on the table like we did. We left a lot of points out there that could have been really important against a different opponent, you know. So just we need to keep that in mind. Cohen's got to be more accurate, make the plays you had on the – we left points. That's, you know, that, and I've said it a lot, but we left points on the table, and anytime you do that, it's rather unfortunate and it sucks. So, yeah, it's better at that. Defensively, we need the units to mesh. I didn't say that yet, but that's a pretty common thing we've seen. I've mentioned this last year too, and definitely in my Steelers videos. But it seems like for some reason it could be in game, even in season, and just in general, all the games so far we've kind of seen this. But it'd be like the offense would be doing really good, like the Florida State game, but then the defense would be doing really bad, and so that was like a game-wide problem. And then today you'd have moments. There's moments throughout the whole game where the defense is doing really good in like the first quarter, giving up only a field goal, the first half really. But then the offense only scores 10 points in the first half, so it doesn't help. You could have built more of a lead there, but they didn't. And then when the offense starts doing a little better, then also the defense gives up a big drive. We need both units to kind of sync up and play well at the same time, and that'll give us our best chance to make something out of this season. So some consistency between the two units would be fantastic. We want to see more of that. So hopefully we get that next week. Got a tough matchup coming up, so stay tuned to the channel for the preview of the Wisconsin game. Also, tomorrow I'll be doing a post-game reaction for the Steelers game, if anyone is interested in that. This is a little shorter than usual. I don't have as much to say. I don't feel very ranty. Haven't got any comments. If anyone has their thoughts on the game they want to share, feel free to comment. I'll gladly respond to that. I'm kind of curious what you guys think about the game. You know, you're happy with the performance, sad with the performance. Any players you want to mention? I got to do my players of the game, I should say. On offense, my player of the game has to be honorable mention, the Davis. He had a great game. I said that already. He was the only receiver with any production, really. Even Michael Meyer, our best player, debatably on offense, was quiet. So as much as Avery Davis is in consideration, I'm going to have to go with Kyron Williams just because of, you know, he scored 2 of our 3 touchdowns. So, you know, 1 passing, 1 rushing. He was all over the field. He made the plays today, kick returns, rushing, receiving. He was just a very solid guy for us and showed his star potential that we saw last year when he was behind a really good O-line. So the fact he's still making it work with this really rough O-line, I give him a lot of credit. So Kyron is my offensive player of the game. Defensively, I'm going Kyle. Bertrand obviously was a tackle machine, but that doesn't mean everything. Kyle had 8 tackles, which was second on the team, but he was also all over the field making big tackles on 4th downs and coming up with good plays. That interception was huge for us, kind of sealed the game, like I said. So my offensive player of the game is Kyron Williams, and my defensive player of the game is Kyle Hamilton. So, yeah, once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Based off, you know, no discussions back and forth with anyone in the live chat this time, but hopefully just so you're aware now that there will be times when I get to do these Notre Dame post games live. So if you ever want to come through, hit the bell on this channel so you know when I go live, so you can come in here and engage in the chat. Your chats will show up on the screen, and we'll get to talk about anything you want to relating to the game, or even next week's game if you want to. So, sorry. Once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please hit the like button before you go. If you could subscribe, if you haven't yet, it'd mean a lot. You get to see all my Notre Dame related content along with Steelers, Penguins, and just sports related content in general. There's a playlist for my Notre Dame videos that this will be in at the end of once it's uploaded to YouTube fully. So make sure you check that out for the rest of my Notre Dame post games, previews, and other stuff like recruiting news, etc., etc. So signing off again, like I ramble, like I always do. This is KMA Preston signing out. Thank you for watching. Go Irish.